just today, of course, as I wake up, it's breaking news. We hear that the worst kept secret in the world, the most expected headline there has ever been, even here in New Zealand, this is our public broadcaster, Radio New Zealand, is saying that the Epstein emails have come out saying Trump knew about the girls, like nobody's surprised. I'm sure you guys have covered off on that sort of today. What's your thoughts around it?
We did. Well, I mean, it puts a lot of pressure. As you probably know, our government shutdown actually within this hour, there's supposed to be a vote to end the government shutdown and also to swear in a Democratic congressperson who was elected, I think, almost 50 days ago now.
I think I heard 11 weeks. I think 11 weeks ago.
No, I think it was 51 days, but it could be 11 weeks. Nevertheless, the longest time in between someone winning an election and getting sworn in. And Mike Johnson, the Republican Speaker of the House, has been holding off on this because she will represent the 218th vote. There are 4 Republican defections who will sign a discharge petition. Without going too far into the weeds, what it basically means is that despite the wishes of the Speaker of the House, the bill has to get to the floor and get a vote if there is a discharge petition. And so that will get to the floor, and it is expected, the legislation, it'll take like a week or two, I think, because of the intricacies of the discharge petition, but it is expected to pass. And then once the House passes a law that says you got to release all the Epstein files that the Department of Justice has, it would go to the Senate. And the Senate doesn't have to take up the bill. It could just die. But this is going to add pressure because if you've read those email exchanges, there were 3, at least, that specifically mentioned Trump that we have seen so far. There's a whole dump of these emails, and there's actually some pretty interesting stuff. I haven't dug through it too much, but I'm seeing some other interesting stuff in there. But one is an email between between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein from 2011. Mm-hmm. And Epstein says, Trump is the dog that didn't bark. And, he knew, and he says specifically, he knew blank, it was redacted, the name of the victim. He spent time with her at my house or at his house. I can't remember exactly, but it's quite clear that Epstein is like, Trump isn't speaking out of turn here. And Ghislaine Maxwell says, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Then there was a subsequent email between the writer Michael Wolff and Epstein in 2015. And that was on the day of a presidential debate. And Michael Wolff said that I hear CNN is going to ask Trump about you.
Or in the scrum afterwards, I think it said. So either on stage or in the scrum. No,
I think it was either in an interview or a scrum. Like they were going to, not necessarily in the debate, I don't think was the implication. And Epstein basically said something to the effect of like, well, if you could fashion an answer for him, what would it be? Yeah. Which is, you could read it as like just a total thought experiment, or that Epstein had a way to get a response to Trump. And Wolff went through the different versions of what potentially Trump could say. And the political, what did he call it? Political currency it would lend or debt that it would provide for Epstein. So he suggested that in the future, Epstein could basically vindicate or exculpate Trump, and that would provide some political debt, et cetera, et cetera. So it really, it suggests that there was sort of almost, I don't know, I would call it a blackmail dynamic, but like you can scratch his back and he'll scratch your back, which implies that there was some back scratching that needed to happen for Epstein. And I suspect that was, this is 2015. Just to remind people, in the early mid-aughts, Epstein faced charges in Florida, and the attorney general at that time, or working in that office, was a guy named Alex Acosta, who made a sweetheart deal with Epstein that and was on record as saying since then that like he was told that Epstein was an intelligence asset and to lay off of him. So he made a sweetheart deal for him. This same guy, Alex Acosta, in 2016, after Trump won, really, I guess 2017 was when he started to serve, was named labor secretary by Donald Trump. So served in the Trump administration. So that 2015 exchange between Wolf and Epstein has some salience. And then in 2019, in January of 2019, this is like 6 or 7 months before Epstein gets arrested and supposedly commits suicide in jail. He also referenced Trump, and that one I can't remember now exactly what was said. Maybe you have it in front of you, but that was also in a conversation between Wolf and Epstein, again alluding to the fact that it had to do with Trump answering a question about Epstein, and Epstein saying, I was never a member of his, he never fired me from the club, or I should say kicked me out of the club. This is what it was. He said, he never kicked me out of the club. I was never a member there. He did, and some of this is redacted, he did tell Ghislaine Maxwell to stop with the girls.
But he had to think, he came back and he said something about he took one of the girls, but it was an employment issue. He took her from the job. Yeah. Trump
had said that he was poaching workers, but
yeah,
the way that Epstein phrased it, it implied that Trump knew there was something ongoing about the girls.
Yeah.
That Trump, didn't want. Now he's referring to years earlier, probably 10, 15 years earlier at that point as to when that conversation happened. But look, it clearly reads as Donald Trump knew a lot more than he has led on.
Yeah.
And this is going to create pressure on Republicans, at least theoretically. I mean, look, much of his following is like this creepy authoritarian followers, but there have been some fractures in the conservative movement, particularly in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah.
And largely around both Israel as a sort of first or second order issue, and also around full on sort of crypto neo-Nazi in the sort of conservative movement, and whether they should be allowed to be in the movement or not.